Hey, 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 it's your girl Ree. Tonight I am back to show you how to achieve that perfect salon quality silky flat iron on natural hair. As you guys saw in my intro, this is a special Juneteenth edition of my natural hair tutorial. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we celebrate Juneteenth and how it came about. But first, let's go ahead and get into this silky flat iron. My hair has already been washed but not blow dried. Before I blow dry it, I am going to apply some Lotta Body. I used the one with coconut and shea oils in it, and you're just going to apply it generously. The only other thing that I'm gonna do before I blow dry is apply, I love this stuff, this IC Fantasia heat protector, and it also adds like tons of shine. But this is really the key to that silky flat iron. I combed everything through, and what I'm gonna do next is just divide my hair into 4 sections because it's so much easier to blow dry my hair in sections. But let's segue into Juneteenth. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have already heard about the Civil War. Most people think that the Civil War was solely about slavery. I mean, that was a small portion of it. But pretty much what had happened was, after the Mexican-American War ended in 1848, you basically had your northern states and you had your southern states. And white people, they started to gain this sense of morality all of a sudden. And they're like, you know, I don't think it's right to enslave the Negroes anymore. So the southern states were like, bruh, like, we making bank off of these niggas, okay? Like, we got cotton, we got tobacco, we got all of that. And we just gonna keep doing what the fuck we doing. So basically, the southern states was like, you gonna have to catch me outside. In comes Abraham Lincoln. He gets elected in 1860. Now, Abraham Lincoln was not for the shits. He was very, very anti-slavery. And he demanded that everybody respected his authority. So Abraham, you know, he's still trying to keep it cute, you know, trying to be diplomatic. He goes to the southern states. He's like, listen, just in case y'all didn't get the memo, I am the president of these here 33 states, because it was only 33 at the time. And I said, let them black folk go. The southern states was like, we don't give a fuck. Like, when we were ruled by the British monarchy not too long ago, the queen was all for the shit. So after about a year of Abraham Lincoln applying the pressure, the southern states were like, we gonna have to form together and we're gonna have to go to war. Now, just a brief time out, what I'm going to do before I get back into my story is I am going to pause for the cause for a second and just go ahead and start blow drying these 4 sections. Okay, so my hair is blow dried, and then all I'm going to do now is just put it back into those 4 sections and start flat ironing. Like I was saying, so it was like 7 states. I know it was like Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama. Don't get me the line. It was 7 of them. 7. So in 1861 started the Civil War. Like I said, Abraham, he was not for the shits, right? So he gets his Union Army. And he's like, y'all want to fight? Let's fight. All right. Now, the Confederate states, they did start off strong, but they eventually started to lose steam. And in 1863, Abraham Lincoln passed what's called the Emancipation Proclamation, which basically said that any enslaved persons shall be free. And because I said it, you gonna do it. My hair is back into 4 sections. I am going to use my heat protector And I am just going to start to flat iron each section. And we are going to flat iron in small sections. Okay, guys? So the Confederate States was like, man, fuck him. Who does he think he is? And even though the Emancipation Proclamation had passed, they were like, we don't give a fuck. All right? So they fight for 2 more years, and eventually the Union Army won, and the Civil War was officially over on April 9th, 1865. Now, the interesting thing, and where Juneteenth actually comes from, is, as you guys know, Black people did not have access to newspapers, news. Black people in the southern states didn't even know that they were supposed to be free. Because the white folks was like, these niggers are dumb, and we gonna keep doing what the fuck we doing. So even though the war had been won by the Union, there were still a lot of states that were profiting off of slave labor. All right? So Abraham Lincoln was like, y'all keep testing my gangster. So he's sending his Union armies into these states that still haven't let these Black people go. And one by one, you know, niggas was finally free. However, there was this little town in Texas called Galveston, right? And they still had slaves. None of the Black people there knew that there was even a thing that existed, such as the Emancipation Proclamation. And certainly the white people weren't going to tell them shit, right? So Abraham's like, listen, I won. So you need to put some respect on my name. And they were just like, okay, we gonna keep doing what the fuck we doing. So Abraham was like, hey, yo, Union Army, I need you to do one more thing for me. And then y'all done. Y'all can go home to your wives and your families, but I just need one more thing. Abraham was like, yo, Union, I need y'all to go to Galveston, right? Take all of these weapons, give them to all the Black folk there, so you can help them be free and they can help themselves too. So on June 19th, 1865, now mind you, this was literally, April, May, June, 2 months after the war had ended. But more so, we're talking about 2 years since the Emancipation Proclamation had been passed, right? And this little town in Texas still had niggas enslaved. So on June 19th, 1865, the Union Army shows up. He's like, hey, Black folks, you get a gun and you get a machete and you get this and you get that, because y'all free. The people there were flabbergasted because they had no idea that for 2 years they were supposed to be free. So the Union comes in, gives them guns. The Union, they got their guns. And yeah, that little town, all them white folk there, they were outnumbered. And they had no choice but to concede. And after all of that fighting was done on that day, there was a grand celebration amongst all of the Black people there. And that is how we have come to know Juneteenth. Now, Juneteenth was always celebrated in Galveston specifically, but Juneteenth was not officially declared a national holiday until 2021. My silky flat iron is done. Just look at the movement, like it's just so shiny and it's laying and it's giving me everything that I needed to give. You can wrap this overnight and it will come out even more silky. I apologize for not being able to fit all of this in a 1 minute and 30-second reel, but I feel like you would be completely amiss if you did not watch this beginning to end, because it is extremely, extremely important that, especially as people of color, that we know our past so we do not repeat it, okay, in the future. I truly, truly, truly hope that you enjoyed this very, very special natural hair tutorial. I had a lot of fun recording it. I would also just like to put a quick disclaimer out there, because I have argued with many and many clear people about why Juneteenth is not for them. But that does not mean that you cannot pay homage and observe the holiday yourself. So if you are looking for a way to show that this day also matters to you, buy a Black person dinner, offer babysitting services to your Black neighbor, solicit a Black-owned restaurant, buy a book by a Black author. You know, there are so many things that pink people, y'all can do to feel like y'all are also important on this day, because what matters is how you honor our struggles and also our freedom. If you have any suggestions or styles that you would like for me to try, hit me up on my socials, because I'm always looking for new things to do to share with you. Until next time.